Hey, what's up guys? Today we have the new Jivi JSP Q56 that was released late last month. Jivi is not exactly one of your most popular brands, but they have been bringing out some really decent devices but at a very aggressive prices, and this is also one of those. It's a 4.5-inch quad-core powered phone that's only priced just under 4,400, and it's available exclusively on Amazon.in already. So we'll see the box first. You see it's a pretty compact box because 4.5-inch device, not very big. You see again dual front speaker and powered by KitKat and some of the latest features that you would find on this phone, but not necessarily on other phones at the same price point. And those are some of the marketing informations, and then your quick specs. Now there you see FWVGA, which is I guess 480 by 854 pixels of resolution. You have dual SIM, one supports 3G, another 2G, and then KitKat, and it says micro and mini cards also. SIM 1 is actually a mini SIM, that is the full size SIM. And that makes sense. It does not have nano, but that makes sense because phones at this price point does not generally have a nano card slot, but a lot of those nowadays come with micro SIM slot. Then 8MP plus 2MP cameras, quad core, and 4GB internal storage, but you have micro SD card that can extend up to 32GB addition, and then 512MB of RAM. I just see the RAM slightly on the lower side. It could have been 1GB, 2000 mAh battery, quite good enough. So I'm just gonna go ahead and open the box, and on the top you have the phone. You see, so nice black on the front, and that navy blue, very dark navy blue accent on the back. We'll come back to the phone just in a bit. Let's see what else. So you have your 2000 mAh battery around here, and then your USB wall adapter. You have the earphones, which are, well, not very premium understandably, and you have call control and mic, but does not have volume control, and a silver plated audio jack. And then you also have your micro USB 2.0 USB cable. You have some of the quick start guards, it's the warranty one, and then the user manual out here. So usual stuff on the box. So there we have the Jivi JSP Q56 4.5-inch screen. It's not protected, so it's gonna get scratched over the time. Already I can see marks on the screen. It's also glossy, so it'll attract a lot of fingerprints. You have a FWVGA resolution, as I told you. That means 480 by 854 pixels. 2MP front camera, fixed focus, and your shortcut keys around here. But what's good thing, and one of the USPs, are the dual front speakers. Now you're gonna see the sound output here, and then your volume rocker, there's the mouthpiece, power button, and 3.5mm jack, and micro USB 2.0 port, 8MP autofocus camera, and then accompanied by an LED flash and the Jivi logo around it. I can open this back flap, which is quite tough actually, which hides the 2000 mAh battery, and that's your SIM 1 full SIM card slot, that's mini, and then your micro. This one supports 3G, 2G, and then the micro SD card slot. So nothing extraordinary, but then a very good and nice. It's great to hold, does not slip off, mainly thanks to the matte finish on the back. Also the slightly blue color gives classy feel to the device, although it's all plastic, mind you, and it will feel plastic to you. All these buttons and all will feel plasticky. They don't give very good tactile feedback, but think of all this considering the price point, 4,400 only. So let's start up the device now, and while it's starting up, there you can see the startup screen. So while it's starting up, the quad-core 1.2 GHz processor. Now we don't know the name of the chipset or the processor. It wasn't mentioned anywhere for obvious reasons maybe, but I'm guessing, I'm almost sure that it's definitely not a Snapdragon. It could be a MediaTek, but it could be other as well. So it's powered by KitKat, and Jivi has some custom touch over it. So you have this quick access to some of the most used app, and then you get to the home screen. Around here you have a notification bar, a quick function toggle bar. So the customization does not go bone deep. In almost all cases you will see the stock KitKat accent, so there is very similar to what the stock Android look like. It's only the icon faces and some of the cosmetic stuff that you would see the change in. So there, for example, the dialer and some of the icons actually look surprisingly similar to some of the icons from more popular ROMs. For example, the mesh is kind of strangely similar to those in MIUI, and then this one, actually the browser looks very similar to the Safari actually. And you have those, the app drawer, sorry. So only 2 pages, no bloatware, not many third-party apps. So Dropbox I installed, but apart from that you see mostly the usual Google Android apps, plus some of the tools that you will have to use, like camera and file explorer and messaging, music and notes and stuff, which is a good thing because that kind of saves that much RAM. And you can go here and then you can go to wallpaper and widgets and settings. Nothing here. Long press here will take you to Google Now, and double press will take you to the recent app menu. You can simply tap here, and with a nice animation it will eat all of the running apps. So we'll go to the settings and show you setting ones. They're arranged in tabs, you see, and we can add accounts, various accounts, and I'll straight away go to storage and show you that it has about 2.5 GB out of the 4 GB available, which is again quite decent, I would say. 4.4.3 is the latest, not exactly latest. 4.4.4 is the latest, but 4.3, yeah, actually 5 is the latest in Nexus, but Lollipop isn't rolled out to most of the devices yet, so we would say 4.4.4 is latest, so 4.4.3 is pretty decent. So let's go ahead and check out some of the apps. First, the dialer. You can see the dialer is slightly different than what the stock Android shows, but it's big enough. And then the keyboard is the default Google keyboard around here. The stock browser 384 out of 555, which is well, decent, average really. And then you can create your tabs around here. And then the camera, the UI of which is again pretty modest. You can see in the landscape mode still the photo, video and the panorama words, they do not exactly go in landscape mode. And it takes some time to lock the focus, so no question of zero lag out there. You have some settings around here, see, and then your flash settings, yeah, HDR on or off, and then front or back, and then some of the settings that I could actually never activate there, see. Anyway, so it's quite slow to acquire focus. The image and video samples are, well, average, actually below average. They do not have details, they are soft, and they have a slight more warmer tone to it. So under enough light you would get, well, average pictures quality, but then under low light the details gets thrown out the window almost completely. If you do not have a good enough light, then it does not automatically adjust the exposure, so you get very dark pictures. Having said that, it's still good enough for photos clicked under enough light with proper lighting and uploadable to Facebook or Twitter or such, but under low light it's really below average. And well, 480 into 854 pixels of resolution on a 4.5 inch screen seems quite enough, although I can see all the icons look kind of slightly pixelated if you look closely enough. It's bright, but it's a TFT screen, so it reflects a lot and has a very poor viewing angle. Here it seems pretty decent. You can see what's in there, but you see the colors start to fade or start to change pretty early into the viewing angle. And then when you go to the camera, and see one of our color cards. It actually oversaturates the red part here slightly, but overall you see it discolors at about 50-60 degree. So average viewing angle. This could just be one of the best thing about the device, the sound output via speakers. The dual front speakers are very good and much better than most of the phone, probably double or triple the price of this phone. You could see it's loud enough, it's very loud even for the crowded places, but at the same time it has that bass, although not much treble, but good enough bass. The sound output is not flat. It crackles just a tad bit at the highest volume, but it's very insignificant. Very impressive sound output. So we'll see the sound output and the display playing a video out here. So first a full HD video, let's see if it can play it. It's skipping frames.
You guys, did you see that? I just was like, what?
So it's skipping frames, but as usual the sound output is brilliant. The colors are also good, but then the viewing angle is really below average. So only if you're looking at the phone almost head straight on, then only you can see the proper colors.
Take the 5. It is time for the next phase of your journey. My fist hungers for justice. That was my fist. We need to get to that.
So all in all, an average display but brilliant sound output. We also tried it with the supplied earphones. The supplied earphones are of average quality. That's where the bass gets slightly lower than the speaker outputs. It gets flatter, but if you listen to it with good enough earphones, the sound output is decent. We also did some benchmark on this one, and you see it's consistently scored towards the end of the scale, and there's one 16,435 on Antutu, by the way, and then on Velamo browser again towards the last, and similar story in multi-core and then in metal as well. 3D Mark 1951 where underlying max out, and then the highest would be about 10,000, and then you see 314 here on the Basemark OS 2. Do we have Basemark OS 2? So those are Basemark OS 2, where you would see the highest are actually 1500 something. Yeah, 1510. And then Basemark OS X, it scores 4444, where the max is 41,000. So in our benchmark scores, this consistently scores towards the last of the ladder. We did some basic gaming test as well, and it's does pretty good in games like Fruit Ninja and your Beach Buggy, but then it cannot play high demanding games like Nova 3 and all, and also mainly due to the space constraint on the internal. The things go to the SD card, but still I think it's not exactly fit for your high demanding games like Modern Combat or Nova 3 or NFS Most Wanted or such. So that's about the user interface. It's relatively smooth for daily usage. I don't see many lag around here. I've used it. When you double click, you can see there are a lot of recent apps, a lot of apps that are active. But still, I see. I don't see it's feather smooth, but it's the transition speeds are always almost constant. So that is a good thing, and you come to expect it after some usage. So a smooth enough interface at this price point for everyday usage. So then, do we see the Jivi JSP Q56 making any statement or appeal to you? Well, to us it does actually, but at this price point, let me be honest, you mostly get crap. Some of the decent enough handsets, for example, you paid 2k extra and you could get the Redmi 1S from Xiaomi, which is much better than this one. So if you can spare 6k, of course the Redmi 1S it would be, but if you can spare just over 4000, I think there's also the Intex Aqua Style Pro or something, which also comes around this price point. That also is a good enough or decent handset, I would say. But apart from that, apart from some of those Androids, mostly other handsets are really crap. So it stands out mainly due to the brilliant sound quality. Also the 4.5-inch screen, it's relatively big screen for this price point, and smooth user interface. I didn't see much lag around here. The camera and the display are below average. So 4400, you cannot go much wrong with this device, and if you strictly cannot pay 6000 at 4K, any of the Q56 or that Intex device I'm talking about would do. This one looks slightly more beautiful than that actually. Thank you.